Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 525 based on novel. So let's start. The Sovereign appeared at a very precise moment. He appeared just as Wang Lin released the arrow for the second time. The Sovereign already felt like he had to kill Wang Lin. Considering cultivation levels, he had already entered the arcane turbulent stage, so aside from a few limited people, no one was his opponent. If it was identity, even though he was merely a slave, even the powerful people had to give him some face. In this cave world, he was the leader of the 5 masters of the ancient celestial realm. He had enjoyed countless years of high status and was viewed as a god by countless cultivators. He was used to being above others. He also had the Sovereign Council. With just one word, he could set off a catastrophe in the outer realm. Even some of the concubines wouldn't dare to stand before him. That was the Sovereign. Even in the inner realm his name was famous. Almost everyone who knew his name would be filled with fear. Everything that had happened revealed just how cunning and elusive he was. From when he gathered powerful cultivators to kill the Lord of the Sealed Realm, to the arrival of the Tattoo clan to mess with Qing Lin, and then the destruction of the 4 celestial realms. Finally, he left a lot of seeds in the inner realm. Zhong Xingye, the head disciple of the Cloud Seas heaven-breaking sect, and Daoist Water. All those people had been manipulated by the Sovereign. He had set off multiple wars between the inner and outer realms. The amount of cultivators that had died by his hand was enough to cover a star system. Before meeting Wang Lin, he had only been in a sorry state 3 times in his life. The first was when the 7-colored Daoist had tried to force him to become his disciple. However, to be forced by the 7-colored Daoist meant he had great talent. The second time was when old Ghost Zhon broke into the outer realm to steal Joss Flames. The 2 of them battled and the Sovereign lost. That battle made him deeply remember the name, Old Ghost Zhon. As for the third time, it was when the Sovereign went into the inner realm to look for the Li Guang arrow. He was seriously injured by a roar and was forced to retreat. Aside from these 3 times, he had done as he wished and had never miscalculated. That was until he met Wang Lin. It was as if Wang Lin was his nemesis, and this almost made him go crazy. The first time he schemed against Wang Lin was when Wang Lin first entered the ancient star system. He wanted to fish out Wang Lin's soul, but not only was he stopped by Dao Master Blue Dream, he had lost Wang Lin's aura due to the ancient tomb. This matter was considered an accident and the Sovereign didn't take it to heart. However, soon, a second encounter took place. At the entrance of the ancient tomb, he watched Wang Lin seal a large portion of the outer realm's power. Just as he tried to free the third step cultivators inside, Wang Lin released a roar that borrowed the power from the lowest layer of the tomb. This roar felt like a sharp sword colliding with the Sovereign. This made him cough out blood and quickly retreat. This matter was barely passable as an accident. Although the Sovereign felt depressed, he at least understood the reason. However, it didn't end there. There was still the third encounter between him and Wang Lin. He had made his disciple bring the Li Guang bow to the inner realm to lure out old Ghost Zhon. The 2 of them battled, but the bow fell into Wang Lin's hands. However, what made him gloomy was that Wang Lin actually managed to get his hands on the arrow afterwards. However, even at that moment, the Sovereign didn't care about Wang Lin. He had still thought that those few incidents were mere accidents. Even if Wang Lin had the bow and arrow, he couldn't use it because of his bloodline. As long as the Sovereign wanted to kill Wang Lin, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. Then came the 4th encounter, where he and many other third-step cultivators from the outer realm used fishing the moon in the well to bring Wang Lin into a fake world to kill him. This time, he had calculated everything without any flaws and forced Wang Lin to use everything. Even though Wang Lin eventually released one of the souls Yimo had sealed, it couldn't change his eventual death. The Sovereign was certain that he had thought of everything and that nothing unexpected could happen again. However, not even in his dreams could the Sovereign have expected the accident that did occur. The appearance of the madman caused a monstrous wave to set off in his heart and caused his life and death calamity to completely collapse. Not only did he not kill Wang Lin, he became the reason why Wang Lin's cultivation level had increased rapidly. This matter made the sovereign extremely gloomy. However, he still didn't recognize Wang Lin and still believed Wang Lin was lucky. It wasn't until the 5th time, when Wang Lin killed him with the arrow, that the sovereign became sober after surviving with the 3 lives spell. Once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times were all accidents. But how could the 5th time still be an accident? This Wang Lin was clearly his nemesis. Wang Lin was like a thorn in the sovereign's heart. Every time he thought of him, he would feel suffocated, and this was almost enough for him to go crazy. It can't go wrong this time. The sovereign appeared 100,000 feet from Wang Lin. He stared at Wang Lin as he waved his sleeves and shot toward him. His arcane turbulent cultivation spread out and space itself trembled as an invisible ripple spread out. Wang Lin remained calm, but he was forced back. The sovereign was not someone Wang Lin could deal with. As the sovereign's cultivation erupted, Wang Lin was like a lone leaf withstanding the wrath of the sea. He continued to retreat. This old man has calculated that he only had the power for 2 shots. There will not be another accident. He has already shot twice, and I can't detect any celestial bloodline in his body right now. He can't draw the Li Guang bow anymore. The sovereign's eyes were filled with powerful killing intent. His intent to kill Wang Lin was monstrous, and he was not willing to stop until he killed Wang Lin. It was understandable that the sovereign was like this, since Wang Lin seemed almost immortal. The sovereign was almost desperate, and he even almost subconsciously believed it was impossible to kill Wang Lin. Every time Wang Lin was faced with danger, some accident would happen at the last minute to reverse the situation. These accidents made it seem as if there was an invisible force changing everything. Although all of this seems kind of crazy, the sovereign almost believed this. This time, I refuse to believe an accident could occur. Damn it, even if he summons Master, I still have to kill Wang Lin. He definitely doesn't have the power to draw the bow a 3rd time, I can't be wrong. The reason the sovereign was so certain was because of his connection with the celestial bloodline. He was, after all, the madman's slave, and he had forced the celestial bloodline out from Wang Lin's body. He knew exactly how much force was inside and how many times it could be used to draw the bow. It would be very difficult for anyone other than him to calculate it accurately. Sovereign's eyes were bloodshot behind the killing intent. As he stepped forward, the world rumbled, the stars trembled, and endless ripples spread in all directions. I can't be wrong, he will certainly die. If I can't kill him, this old man will change my name to his family name. The sovereign's will to kill Wang Lin had reached a limit, to the point of him almost going crazy. At this moment, he arrived behind Wang Lin and his palm slammed down on him. Die for this old man. He didn't even talk to Wang Lin at all. The moment he attacked, he used his most powerful spell. In fact, despite how certain he was that he hadn't made a mistake, he was still vaguely worried. He was afraid that if he talked with Wang Lin, some accident might really happen. In addition, this palm of his was only a way of scouting Wang Lin. After all, the sovereign had experienced Wang Lin's accidents several times. A giant palm print appeared between the sovereign and the retreating Wang Lin. The moment it appeared, it began to grow, but it didn't grow too big, only about 1,000 feet large. However, it was extremely solid, as if it was real. After it appeared, it rumbled toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's face was pale, but his eyes were not alarmed at all. The appearance of the sovereign was not outside Wang Lin's expectations. In fact, if the sovereign hadn't appeared, Wang Lin would have had to think about things more carefully. As the palm print closed in, Wang Lin raised his right hand. The ancient god stars between his eyebrows, along with stars in his left and right eyes, all shined. Ancient power gathered from his body and condensed on his right index finger. With the immortal celestial body as inspiration, this was Wang Lin's self-created spell, Ancient Immortal Finger. The moment he pointed forward, a burst of green light erupted from Wang Lin's body. It was the Azure Shield. After that, a huge light shadow appeared behind Wang Lin. I was the light and shadow shield. Behind the light and shadow shield, bursts of colorful light echoed and a colorful butterfly landed on Wang Lin's shoulder, flapping its wings. Colorful powder fell from it and it was extremely beautiful. Still not time yet, Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light. All of this happened in an instant. The 1,000-foot palm print closed in and collided with Wang Lin's right index finger. Rumble, 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 rumble. Just as they touched, Wang Lin felt like this body was going to collapse. He coughed out blood and retreated. Wang Lin's right index finger was immediately disintegrated by the palm print, but it instantly reformed. In just a few breaths, Wang Lin's index finger was destroyed and reformed more than 1,000 times. The difference in cultivation levels was like a giant gully. It was far beyond something Wang Lin could cross. After a few breaths, although his right finger could still keep up, his body couldn't. Wounds appeared all over his body and intense pain washed over him. The light and shadow shield became twisted as it flashed and then collapsed. The azure shield shined brightly as cracking sounds echoed, and it was knocked back into Wang Lin's body. The five-colored butterfly trembled and dissipated into five-colored light. All this destruction caused Wang Lin to cough out blood, and his body began to fragment under the rumbles. He was constantly pushed back. As his right index finger continued to resist, he formed a seal with his left hand and waved. The stars trembled with this wave and the exact same palm print appeared. It was the War Spirit print. After the War Spirit print appeared, it followed Wang Lin's wave and collided with the Sovereign's palm print. A thunderous rumble echoed. The instant the invincible War Spirit print collided with the Sovereign's palm print, it collapsed. Wang Lin was knocked back and large amounts of blood flowed out from his mouth. This was only his first collision with the Sovereign and he was already seriously injured. However, the Sovereign's palm print only paused for a moment before continuing forward. Wang Lin looked up and revealed a fierce expression as he pointed upward. Bursts of seven-colored light appeared, forming a lance that shot toward the palm print. Both sides began colliding once more, setting off monstrous sounds. Wang Lin's body was swept by the wind and he retreated more than 10,000 feet. His hands were trembling and his legs were covered in blood. However, the big palm print didn't disintegrate, though it had dissipated slightly and wasn't as solid as before. The palm print howled as it descended upon Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with madness. The power of the Sovereign was not outside his expectations. This was the power of an arcane turbulent cultivator. As the palm print closed in, the fire in Wang Lin's left eye and the thunder in his right eye appeared. The three ethereal essences and the slaughter essence rumbled. The 6 essences in his body formed 6 illusory swords. With one wave, these 6 swords shot out toward the palm print. Wang Lin clenched his teeth, and rather than retreating, he charged forward. The 6 swords instantly closed in on the palm print and stabbed it. Ripples spread out, and as the swords attacked the palm print, Wang Lin charged forward. He had a fierce expression as he raised his hand, his eyes filled with killing intent. Tearing the heavens. The tearing the heavens spell Wang Lin had learned from Yemo's child was used. He grabbed space itself and mercilessly tore it open. The space before Wang Lin trembled and a rift was ripped open before him. Borrowing the power of tearing space itself, the palm print was also torn open. At this instant, an Ancient One shadow appeared behind Wang Lin. This was different from before. It was no longer just a head but had a vague body. This body was the Ancient One's body. Although Wang Lin hadn't had time to refine those 8 drops of blood, it had appeared. This vague Ancient One figure also opened its arms and tore at the palm print following Wang Lin's movement. The star domain trembled as an indescribable power ripped it open. It ripped open the operation of the heavens and ripped open the Sovereign's palm print. The palm print collapsed. The 6 swords also shattered and returned back to Wang Lin's body in fragments. Wang Lin's hands were a bloody mess. The power of that spell relied on his fingers. Even the Ancient One shadow behind Wang Lin suddenly collapsed. Wang Lin was knocked back. He coughed out large amounts of blood and blood sprayed out from his body. His face was pale, but the madness in his eyes disappeared and was replaced by calmness. It was as everything before was merely a play. This is the power of a peak arcane void cultivator that has entered arcane turbulent. Without the Li Guangbo, I'm no match. Wang Lin staggered back as sharp pain washed over his body. His origin soul had been damaged by the rebound shockwave. All of this happened very fast. Although the palm print had dissipated, the sovereign laughed loudly. He was finally certain that Wang Lin didn't have the power to pull the bow a third time. Now that he had no worries, he walked toward Wang Lin with a cruel grin. "Wang Lin, I want to see where you will run this time. I have already sealed this star domain, you can't escape." The sovereign was filled with joy. He had waited 3 years for this day. Just as the sovereign closed in, howls echoed from the distance. Ripples spread and the seventh concubine walked out with a sullen expression. At the same time, Tao Master Miao Yin and Devil Master Nine Heaven came from another direction toward Wang Lin. 3 of the 5 masters of the ancient star system and the 7th celestial imperial concubine. Any one of them could shake the inner and outer realms, but at this moment, they had all come to kill Wang Lin. Seeing all 4 of them appear, Wang Lin's eyes became cold. He had been waiting for all 4 of them to appear. Only then could he complete the first step of his plan. Destroy the outer realm's ancient star system and cause chaos in the cave world so the powers were no longer in balance. This was the first step of Wang Lin's plan, but how could he not realize that this would leave him trapped in the ancient star system only to be hunted? His eyes shined. Just as the sovereign was about to close in, Wang Lin suddenly stopped. His left hand reached forward and the Li Guangbo suddenly appeared in his hands. The moment the Li Guangbo appeared, the sovereign's expression changed greatly. He subconsciously stopped and even retreated more than 1,000 feet. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. "Impossible. You only have the power of 2 shots, I can't be wrong, impossible. You're just taking out the bow to make a fool of us. You can't draw that bow." The sovereign couldn't accept such a thing. He couldn't accept his plans being wrong again and again. This kind of blow was extremely deadly to him and could break his confidence, shake his Tao heart. At this moment, not only did the sovereign retreat, but even the 7th concubine stopped and no longer moved forward. Tao Master Miao Yin and Devil Master Nine Heaven also stopped, and their expressions changed greatly. The sovereign's face turned pale, then madness filled his eyes and he roared at Wang Lin, "You're pretending to be mysterious." However, just as he roared, he suddenly stopped as he saw Wang Lin's right hand grab the bowstring and mercilessly pull back. There was a buzz. This beautiful sound terrified the sovereign. The memory of his death 3 years ago couldn't be suppressed and drowned him. "Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Even if you can draw the bow, you don't have the celestial energy to trigger the arrow to appear." The sovereign retreated, his face deathly pale. However, just at this moment, a ghostly light flashed on the bow Wang Lin had drawn, and the arrow that suppressed all life appeared. Holding the bow, he locked onto the sovereign and the others that had come. He raised his left hand and pointed the arrow at the sovereign. The sovereign's face turned deathly pale after being pointed at by the arrow. The biggest blow came from his mind. His plans had collapsed again and again before Wang Lin. Even though he was sure this time, in the end, he found that he was wrong once more. This old man refuses to believe. All of this is false. Although you have summoned the arrow, you don't have the celestial energy to shoot this arrow. I don't believe it, I'm willing to bet on this. The sovereign went mad. Instead of retreating, he rushed toward Wang Lin. His expression was twisted as his hands formed a seal and the giant palm print appeared once more. A giant, illusory well appeared behind the palm print. The well suddenly spread and the surrounding star domain seemed to become part of it. At the same time, a bright, red sun appeared in this star domain that was surrounded by the well's water. The power of the law of origin appeared. The sovereign went crazy. As he moved forward, he hit his forehead with his hand. A fist-sized bone bead suddenly came out of his forehead. The bone bead was grey and gave off a white glow. After it appeared, the sovereign's power increased several-fold. He then charged straight at Wang Lin. "I'll make you believe, make you remember." Wang Lin closed his cold eyes so the others couldn't see the golden light in his gaze. He pulled the bow a bit more with his right hand so the bowstring was pulled back a bit more, then he suddenly let go. The moment he let go, the arrow shot forward as a ray of heaven-shattering light. The palm print instantly collapsed and was penetrated by the arrow. Ripples echoed across the well, and as the arrow passed, the well shattered. As for the sun, it wasn't able to stop the arrow from passing through. The arrow carried with it a powerful destructive force as it flew toward the sovereign, who was filled with despair. This can't be, the arrow was too fast and instantly passed through the sovereign. His body trembled as the arrow passed by. His body collapsed and the fragments of his body were knocked tens of thousands of kilometers away. Tao Master Miao Yin and Devil Master Nine Heaven coughed out blood and their bodies collapsed. Their origin souls were about to escape when Wang Lin waved his sleeves and captured them. Only the seventh concubine only coughed out a large amount of blood and was seriously injured after the arrow passed. As a celestial imperial concubine, she had a life-saving treasure and luckily survived. After the arrow whizzed past, the sovereign's flesh and blood rapidly reformed and he resurrected once more. He was pale and he looked at Wang Lin with fear he had never shown before. At this moment, he didn't dare to say he could calculate how many shots Wang Lin could fire. Without any hesitation, the sovereign fled like crazy without turning back, just like 3 years ago. Just at this moment, a monstrous seven-colored light surged. It was as if someone had come using the seven-colored light and completely lit up this star domain. When the seven-colored light flashed, the retreating sovereign suddenly stopped. He looked at the seven-colored light with a complicated and bitter expression. There was also the seventh concubine that had barely survived due to her life-saving treasure. She also looked at the seven-colored light with a complicated expression. He really came. Wang Lin's pupils shrank, and without hesitation, he retreated back a few steps. His right hand reached at the void and a jade appeared in his hand. He crushed the jade and it turned into dust. A fist-sized black hole immediately appeared where the jade was. The black hole gave off a shocking suction force and emitted a ghostly light that shrouded Wang Lin. It was going to pull him into the black hole. In the distance, where the seven-colored light appeared, an illusory figure slowly walked over. The figure was a middle-aged man in a robe. He gave off an air of refinement. He was originally calm, but when he saw the black hole appear when Wang Lin crushed the jade, a mysterious light flashed through his eyes. "You want to leave using that method?" "That's not possible," the seven-colored Daoist spoke as he casually pointed at Wang Lin. With one point, the seven-colored light suddenly shined brightly and gathered in his finger. A seven-colored storm appeared and shot toward Wang Lin. This storm was too fast and instantly closed in on Wang Lin. It was less than 7 feet from Wang Lin. A chill came from Wang Lin's mind and spread across every pore of his body, telling him it was a life-and-death crisis. Based on the speed of this storm, it seemed like Wang Lin didn't have enough time to enter the black hole. However, he didn't panic, as if everything was within his calculations. Just as the seven-colored storm closed in, a woman's jade-like hand reached out from the black hole. Her middle finger had a bright, green jade ring that collided with the storm. The seven-colored storm silently collapsed and turned into seven-colored gas. The gas took shapes that looked like 7 poisonous snakes and drilled into the jade-like hand. A wounded muffle came from the black hole. The jade-like hand trembled and soon formed a seal. The hand suddenly split into 7 of the exact same hand and overlapped to form a circle. A 7-colored light came from these 7 hands. With a gentle pat, the 7 hands all gave off different colored lights, forming a 7-colored print. It flew by Wang Lin and shot toward the 7-colored Daoist in the distance. At the same time, Wang Lin's body was pulled in by the black hole and he disappeared from the ancient star system. All of this happened in an instant. When the sovereign saw the 7 hands, he stared at them and his eyes shined brightly. So it's her. The person who was even more shocked was the 7th concubine. Her face turned pale and she subconsciously stepped back as she exclaimed, "Elder sister." She isn't dead. Only the 7-colored Daoist remained calm. As the 7-colored print closed in, he waved his hand. A 7-colored ripple echoed and collided with the 7-colored print. Thunderous rumble echoed, and a moment later, everything disappeared. The 7-colored Daoist closed his eyes. It was unknown what he was thinking. After a long time, he slowly opened his eyes and looked at where Wang Lin had disappeared. Reminiscence filled his eyes. 7-colored jade print. I think that is the name. Unfortunately, I only have the spell but not the memory. However, it's not enough to escape from me. The Li Guangbo has finished its mission, so it's time to take it back. The 7-colored Daoist raised his head and stepped forward. He disappeared without a trace. Only the sovereign and the 7th concubine were left there. They were both shocked by the appearance of that hand and the identity of the owner of the hand. The celestial sovereign's first concubine and also the little sister of the celestial sovereign's Tao partner. In the cloud sea, there was a giant spatial crack where the demon sect used to be. Few people knew where this crack led to, but many fierce beasts often rushed out of it. At this moment, deep inside the spatial crack, in this dark and strange space, there was a giant beast more than 10,000 feet long. It looked like a lion but had a single horn on its head. There was a woman sitting before the single horn on this mighty lion's head. She was an extreme beauty, and at this moment, her face was pale. She continuously formed seals and waved her hands before her. Before her was a fist-sized hole that was devouring the darkness around her. The black hole trembled and expanded. When it expanded to 10 feet, Wang Lin walked out. The moment he walked out, the black hole collapsed into specks of light. Many thanks. Wang Lin clasped his hands at the woman sitting there. The extremely beautiful woman opened her eyes and revealed a hint of exhaustion. She looked at Wang Lin, and after a long time, she shook her head and let out a sigh. Back when we parted, your cultivation level was low. I didn't think you would reach such a high cultivation level today. I thought you had forgotten about our agreement, but when I received your message through the jade, I knew you hadn't. You helped me leave here before and I'll naturally not forget. However, due to some matters, I came late. Wang Lin smiled and looked down at the giant lion, which was running. He decided to sit down. When he decided to go to the ancient star system to destroy the ancient celestial realm there, he had already thought of a way to escape. Wang Lin knew this trip would not be simple. Once he shot the bow twice, the sovereign would act. Even though Wang Lin didn't only have the power for 2 shots left like the sovereign thought, the outer realm was the 7-colored Daoist's domain. Once that person appeared, Wang Lin knew it would be difficult to escape. Therefore, when he was cultivating on the wheel formation 1 year ago, he had taken out the jade and communicated with this woman who he hadn't talked to in a long time. They reached an agreement. The reason Wang Lin had looked for the woman's help was because through his own knowledge and various clues, Wang Lin was 60% confident that this woman was the missing first concubine. After they had their first communication, the woman had revealed her identity. She was the first concubine. The beautiful woman softly said, I was once the first concubine of the 7-colored celestial sovereign. I told you this before when we talked through the jade. My other identity is the younger sister of Fan Shanmeng, the 7-colored celestial sovereign's Tao partner. My name is Fan Shanlu. Since you already know that this is just a cave world, there is no need to hide anything from you. The 7-colored celestial sovereign tried to obtain a treasure while 2 of the 9 sons fought. He used despicable methods by using my sister as bait, and he took that opportunity to obtain it. Then he came back and sealed the 7 Tao sect. Once we arrived here, I couldn't believe anyone from the immortal astral continent, and I was injured by the 7-colored celestial sovereign. My cultivation still hasn't recovered and I had no one to work with until you appeared. There is no conflict of interest between us, we can work together. The woman spoke softly. You want to take the native cultivators here to the immortal astral continent, I'll also help you with this. The immortal astral continent is a mysterious place. It is too big and wars are constant. There is little peace between the various sects. If you want to have a foothold there, you must have a sect. Every decent area has already been taken. To tell you the truth, with your cultivation level, you can't take any sects. As for the cave world, everything here is just an illusion. It is not inaccurate to say all the lives here are indeed fake. Throughout the ages, I have rarely heard of people coming out of the various cave worlds of the sects across the immortal astral continent. I have to tell you this in advance. Wang Lin silently pondered as he sat there listening to her words. However, It is not impossible. When you head to the immortal astral continent, you have to pay a great price and bear the penalty of the immortal astral law. I have heard little about this matter, but only after reaching arcane turbulent in the cave world could you have a chance of surviving it. However, I can help you with this matter as well, the woman slowly spoke as she looked at Wang Lin. I'm listening. Wang Lin's expression was calm, without any hint of fluctuations. When the woman saw this, she couldn't help but reveal a hint of admiration. After pondering for a bit, the woman suddenly said, "My elder sister is not dead." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, but he didn't speak. She is not here, she is in the immortal astral continent. Obtaining a sect in the immortal astral continent is very difficult, but if you kill the seven-colored celestial sovereign, the Seven Tao sect is yours. My sister and I don't want any of it. Actually, we are not people of the Seven Tao sect but core disciples of the Great Soul sect. Back then, we were blind and followed the seven-colored celestial sovereign. The woman clenched her teeth and revealed a resentful expression. Even after you obtain the Seven Tao sect, if you wish to continue cultivating, we can introduce you into the Great Soul sect. As for the penalty of you entering the immortal astral continent, I'll ask my sister to ask Master to help. With Master helping to welcome you to the immortal astral continent, the penalty would be reduced. Wang Lin silently pondered. A moment later, he slowly spoke. Besides me, what about the other cultivators of the cave world? The beautiful woman was about to speak when her expression suddenly changed and she looked back. At the same time, Wang Lin also looked back with a gloomy expression. This video will end here.